Hi there, and welcome to the All About Everest podcast, episode 11, Spring 2022 Everest updates. So this episode is going to be all about some of the things that we need to know about the upcoming spring climbing season, some of the stuff that's going on already, and some of the climbers that we should be watching this year. So let's go. So first, a huge shout out to all of my listeners. I love getting your feedback. I am so grateful to get all of the emails and messages and comments that I've been getting from you guys. And I am so grateful that I am able to inspire so many, because I get messages daily of people who have never been to Mount Everest and haven't been inspired by it until now, until they started listening to the podcast. And then there are those that have already climbed it or plan on climbing it, and how this just adds to their passion. So thank you so much for listening. The second thing I wanted to mention was that you may have noticed that last week's podcast episode is missing and this one is late. And it's because one of my kids has some stuff going on. So hopefully the end of next week, that will all be resolved. He's going into surgery. So hopefully next week's episode will be on time. Because I missed last week, you'll get a podcast episode today and another one tomorrow. Today's podcast episode is about this upcoming season stuff to watch for, stuff that's already happened and things like that. Just a little bit of news to carry you forward and who you might want to be watching this coming spring. And then tomorrow it's going to be about the 2014 Everest disaster in the Khumbu Icefall. As tragic as that disaster was, it opened up a lot of conversations that changed a few things, and I think will eventually create even better changes. So let's go. So you might have noticed at the beginning of each podcast episode, I like to give updates about what's going on with Mount Everest. And so this is just like one really big one. You might have heard me talking about some of this stuff, and it might have already been discussed. But this episode, I'll go into even more detail. This year's season is already well underway. The average climbing time, or time that climbers spend on the mountain, is about 8 weeks. And so towards the end of March, all of the staff are headed towards base camp. It starts with the ice doctors that head out first, and then all of the other Sherpas and crews that stake claims on their campsites, start setting up equipment and hauling all of that equipment up the mountain to the different camps, as well as fixing the set lines. Last episode, we talked about how the ice doctors had already headed out and why their role is so important. The Khumbu Icefall is extremely dangerous. And one of the things that isn't mentioned very often is all of the hard work that the Sherpas and the crews put in. When they put in the fixed lines and they set up the camps all the way towards the top, they go through the icefall on average 30 times. Yet the regular climbers maybe will go through 1 to 2 times. So it's a lot of hard work. And if I haven't said it already, super dangerous. It's a running river of ice, and people die there every year, unfortunately, or almost every year. And we'll discuss it more next episode about the 2014 Everest disaster. It looks like Kami Rita Sherpa is going to break his record this year. He currently holds the record for 25 times to the summit. And he's held the record for a couple of years now. So this will be his 26th time. He's also leading the group of Sherpas that are fixing the ropes. Because Tibet is officially closed, all of the climbers will be climbing from Nepal this year. And if you watch any of them on social media, you'll have seen that a lot of them have already started their journey or are already in Nepal. Amongst those that have already arrived in Kathmandu, the Full Circle Everest team, which is the all black team, landed, I think it was yesterday, and they'll be heading out to base camp soon. That's definitely one of the teams that I intend to watch this year. Nims Day, or Nirmal Purja, has been posting a lot the last couple of weeks, showing all of his gear and that he's getting ready for his expedition this year. He's the guy from the documentary 14 Peaks. And if you haven't seen it yet, I totally recommend it. You can find it on Netflix. It's, I think, in the top 3 for me for the best mountaineering movies ever. And this year, he's attempting the summit without oxygen. So I hope that he can achieve this accomplishment because he's already shown that he can do so much and he's really amazing and inspiring to watch. Hoping for a first this year, we have the Salvadoran Alpha Karina. I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name. And not only is she attempting to be the first Salvadoran to climb Mount Everest, but she will also be the first female Salvadoran to complete the summit. She tried it last year and she wasn't able to make it. This is her second attempt, so we're sending her lots of good vibes. It's always great to see people achieve firsts, especially all of the pride for her country and that personal achievement. Every year, there are a couple climbers that try to stand out. And this year, we have not one but 2 people who are attempting to fly down from the summit. So there's Ken Hutt, the Australian, and then we have Pierre Carter, who has only Everest and Vision left to complete his project to paraglide from the top of all 7 summits. And he's from South Africa. And I can't wait to see these guys do this. It has happened before, but it's always an impressive feat. And I can only imagine how amazing it is to just kind of lift off from the summit and glide over the Himalayas. That would be something that I would try. I have no fear of heights, and I think it would be one of those things that you would never do again, but it would be like on the ultimate adventure bucket list. So good luck to those 2, and I hope they're successful. Hopefully, we have another female record breaker this year. Maya Sherpa is on track to complete her 10th summit, and she currently holds the record for the most summit attempts by a woman. So last November, a team of French and Nepali mountaineers decided that they wanted to find an alternative route up the mountain. As we know, there are a lot of issues with overcrowding and also the danger of the Khumbu icefall. So they went in November, and then they're going to try again this year. Mark Batard is one of the climbers on this expedition, and hopefully they will be successful, and it will be not necessarily an easier route or a safer route, but an alternative. So we'll see what they come up with. It'll be interesting to see if they're successful or not, and how this new route could potentially change climbing in the years to come. One of the updates that I had given in a previous episode was that Sir Edmund Hillary's son Peter and his children we're going to climb Mount Everest this year. Next year is the 70th anniversary of the first summit of Mount Everest when Tenzing Norgay and Sir Edmund Hillary reached the top. So, in order to celebrate that, Peter and his kids are going to film a documentary, Climbing to the Top. And it's supposed to come out next year in 2023 to celebrate 70 years. I haven't heard anything new since February, but I will definitely keep you guys posted. I think it's a beautiful tribute what they're doing, and it will be interesting to see what they come up with. I'm always up for a brand new documentary about Mount Everest. So this year, even though the Tibetan side is closed, it seems that the amount of permits is really slowly coming in. It was estimated that this year there would be about 300 to 350 permits. I don't even know if they'll reach 300. They're just coming in really slowly, and several of the bigger expedition companies have canceled for this year. There's a lot of reasons why they've canceled, primarily because of the way that COVID was handled at base camp last year, other safety concerns, and some of them just prefer the Tibetan side. There's another cleanup underway. As you all know, Everest is known as the highest garbage dump in the world, and it's because there's so much trash up there. So this year, there's another big mountain cleanup. They've hired people actually to try to bring down as much trash as possible, hopefully all the way from the death zone and Camp 4. We'll see if that happens and how much they can bring down. They're encouraging other climbers to bring down what they can. And I think that that is a brilliant idea, because in 20, 30, 40 years, we want our descendants to be able to enjoy the mountain as much as we do. And even though I'm not going to climb it ever, I still want to go to Everest Base Camp, and I'd prefer to do it without trash. I'll continue to post updates at the beginning of each podcast episode, but I probably won't do one big update like this one until after the end of the season. If you like to know what's going on a weekly or even daily basis, I recommend that you follow Alan Arnett. He is the dude. He is the person that you want to follow every year. He's very well informed. He's been on the mountain numerous times. Super fantastic guy. I only hear good things about him, even though I don't know him personally. So you can follow him at alanarnett.com, and sign up for his email list, because that way you can get all of your updates in one place if you want to get them on a regular basis and not just once a week or at the end of the season. I can't wait to see what happens this climbing season. A lot of exciting things already happening, and I'm sure there will be a lot more. So continue to follow along. The other thing is that my website is back up. So I'm finally getting caught up on show notes, and they should all be done by Sunday. So that's it for this week's episode. And then I'll have another one posted tomorrow so I can get caught up. And that will be about the 2014 Everest disaster and the Khumbu Icefell. And I'll have one more posted this weekend so that I'm completely caught up. I'm not sure when though, because my little guy is going into surgery. So it just depends on how he's feeling. Please keep him in your thoughts. Out of all of my kids, I think he will be the one to get into climbing and mountaineering. He loves those gigantic, huge boulders and climbing them. And he definitely will be the one to achieve big things. And last but not least, I wanted to say thank you to one of our listeners, Gloria. Thank you so much for reaching out. She freaked out a little bit when there was no podcast episode last week. So, thank you so much for caring and for reaching out and making sure that everything was okay. Again, I always love hearing from you guys. It always makes my day. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, and rate. By doing that, you help me be able to keep this podcast going. And I appreciate each and every one of you. And that's it for today. See you next week.